Chowdhury, Honorable Vice Chancellor of IUB, Professor M. Omar Rahman, Speaker of today, Ms. Shawpna Bhowmick, Country Manager of Marks & Spencer for Bangladesh and Myanmar, Honorable Deans and Department Heads from different schools of IUB, my fellow colleagues and management bodies, and dear students, a very good morning to all of you. Today, we have gathered together for a very special occasion in this beautiful auditorium. We have someone among us who is worthy for all the praises. And to introduce her to the audience, now I would like to request Professor Muhammad Aminul Karim, Dean School of Business, to come to the stage. Sir, please.
And our very distinguished guest of the day, the guest speaker, Ms. Shawpna Bhowmick, who is the country manager of Marks & Spencer, Bangladesh and Myanmar. Sorry, the Myanmar is missing here because we got this slide from the Marks & Spencer, Bangladesh. But when I looked into the YouTube, I found your manager for both Bangladesh and Bangladesh. Distinguished faculty members, my fellow colleagues, and the staff from the university, and most of all, my very dear students. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. May I welcome all of you in today's much talked about topic, and this was chosen by the guest speaker herself. Dream big. That's a fantastic coincidence, I must say that. Now may I have the privilege to introduce our guest speaker this morning here in this, I think, one of the best auditoriums that we have in this country. I would say the best probably. I have seen one like this in the staff college, in military staff college in Mirpur, something like this, but this is definitely better than the military staff college at Mirpur. From this distinguished leader. She's happily married, am I correct? And she has a boy, and he's fond of cricket. And her husband is also fond of cricket, and you are very fond of she's very fond of her mother-in-law, so she gives a lot of time to her family as well. She's very proud to be married to that family. Well, she'll talk, I believe, on value addition to the products. We constantly talk about value addition in our strategy management class, marketing classes, in management classes, in economics classes, everywhere we talk value addition, and so on and so forth. I'm sure she's going to talk about that, and I hope she'll also cover, what she can cover is gender equity or gender equality in a firm, in a workplace, and she might cover a little bit what the Pope John Paul said, that Bangladeshi female workforce are the sweat slaves. What she's doing to get out of this stigma. Oration from our distinguished guest. Thank you very much.
May I now request our Honorable Vice Chancellor of IUB, Professor M. Omar Rahman, to address the audience.
Where we have really, I think, a speaker who I think is really going to be a role model for our students, Ms. Shawpna Bhowmick, Country Manager of Marks & Spencer, Bangladesh, and also looking after Myanmar. I have to say there's always a problem to going second, because everything I wanted to say, many of this has already been said by our Dean, and of course we both read the same Wikipedia article and the same Daily Star interview, so our knowledge base. So the learning point here is, before you come, make sure you Google whoever it is that you're trying to meet and find out that's what's wonderful. I always tell my children that Google is magical. Everything you want to know, you're going to find out. So you've known all the basics. This is, Ms. Bhowmick she is really a daughter of the soil from Bangladesh, and she has really done amazing things, and as was pointed out, but I think it's worth repeating, that when she joined Marks & Spencer's, Marks & Spencer's was sourcing only about $5 million worth of products, and now it's getting close to be $1 billion. And just to add some context to that, I actually read more of the Wikipedia article, and the total revenue of Marks & Spencer's last year was 10.6 million pounds, which is about, in my calculation, about $15 billion. And if it's $1 billion, then it's roughly about 7% of that is going to be coming from Bangladesh, which is fantastic. And you deserve a huge amount of credit for bringing Bangladesh onto the international, being a major player. But as I was reading that and reading about Marks and Spencer's, by the way, I'm a big fan of Marks and Spencer's. I just came back from Hong Kong, bought quite a lot of clothes there. But a couple of things that I noticed was that, Marks and Spencer's is known for two things, for those of you who are not aware of it. It's known for clothing and it's known for food. I noticed that the men's section is always right next to the food. And my thinking is that the men are definitely more interested in the food than they are in the clothing. So on the way to the food, they buy the clothing. It also, I read somewhere, and it's true that even for men's clothing, the majority of men's clothing is bought by women. Most men, when they're young, their mothers buy their clothes for them, and when they're older, their wives or girlfriends or their significant others buy it. So it's interesting how the positioning of various departments, even in the stores, I think must reflect some sort of market research. Because I was actually curious about why it was next to the food. It made a lot of sense. I was actually interested in the food, but I ended up buying clothes that I didn't think I wanted to buy, so there was a lot of impulse buying. For the students, I want to say that, Bangladesh is going through an amazing transformation. And I think all of you know that we are the second largest garment exporter in the world. First is China, but there's a big difference between number one and number two. And we have a huge potential. I think roughly it's now about, $25 billion is the garment export. And, in the papers we talk about that in the next 5 to 10 years, it may go up to 50 billion, and there's a huge potential. But there are lots of constraints here. One of the big constraints is that we need to move up the value chain. We are still caught in the low end of the market, but I think Ms. Bhowmick and this is also Bangladesh's story. So thank you again for coming, Ms. Bhowmick, and we are very much looking forward to hearing from you. And you really are going to be, you're already an inspiration and a role model to our students, and we look forward to hearing more from you about how we can move forward. Thank you.
Very much, sir, for your encouraging words. Now, I'd like to request the Honorable Chairman, Board of Trustees of IUB, Mr. A Matin Chowdhury, to share a few words with the audience.
I still see a lot of empty seats. I thought it was a sold-out event. Anyways, students, it's a great pleasure to be here today, because if you look at the event which we are trying to celebrate today, I would say celebrate, is the success of Bangladesh first. See, when we started as a country, Bangladesh was nowhere. And then we didn't have the facilities which we are now building up in this country and trying to build up more. But with those limited resources, this country has moved up. And as the previous speakers have said, that we are the second largest exporter of a particular item which is of big value. The step is now, second step we are at. We now have some facilities, maybe not world class yet, but at least much better than what we had 40, 50, 35 years ago. So this is the facility which your generation is able to enjoy, and you are able to enjoy. Because if you look at yourselves, you are the most privileged students in this country. And if you are the most privileged students in this country, you are expected to give back the most valued product back to the country. So it's a responsibility on you, all of you who are here, to sort of understand that you are not here just to get a degree, get out, and get a job. You are the leaders of Bangladesh. So you have to become a leader, and that's why your parents have sent you here with their hard-earned money. Because it costs a lot of money to come through IUB. All of you realize that, talking. She said, I'm not going to talk much, I want to interact with the students. So please prepare your good questions and come up with her and listen to her. We are all waiting for this wonderful speech. I have taken a little longer than I was supposed to, but I will stop here and let Shawpna take the stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your thoughts with us. And now the wait is over. We're going to hear from the person for whom we have gathered together. Requesting Ms. Shawpna Bhowmick, Country Manager of Marks and Spencer for Bangladesh and Myanmar, to take over the stage. Please, ma'am.
Thank you. Now let me introduce properly Okay? I'm Shawpna Bhowmick and I'm 100% made in Bangladesh. Absolutely 100% made in Bangladesh. There is no contamination. Okay? Now, you will be really wondering that how come you're 100% made in Bangladesh and you still become the CEO of a company and not only for one country, for two countries? Are you really kidding me? I'm going to share how it had happened. Very simple thing, just work hard. There is no alternate of that. Okay? So, to introduce properly myself, as I said, I'm 100% made in Bangladesh. I'm a proud mother of a 10-year-old son. Okay? And I work for Marks & Spencer. I know a lot of you do not do Marks & Spencer. And you have this question, what is Marks & Spencer? Do they make chicken peanut charger? What do they really do? You know? What is the connection of them in Bangladesh? So very simply, we are a 144 years old company. We are close to about $16 billion worth. And the relation with Bangladesh and Marks & Spencer, so 50% of the female workers did not have a single female supervisor. In the staff, there was not a single female as well. And the magic happened. You know that magic? I said, Shawpna, this is the industry you would like to work for. You wanted to be a change maker. You always had the dream back of your head that I want to do something. I don't know what I want to do, but this is the place you belong. Okay? This is the place you can be a change maker. So I did the job for 3 years in that local buying house. And খুব বেশি দিন আগের কথা বলছি না. I'm not that old. Do I look that old? It's dinosaur আমলের কথা বলছি না. 2001, 2000 এর দিকের কথা বলছি. So it was not so long ago. I was working in Walmart, very happy, was getting promotion. I was very happy with my salary of 20,000 Dhaka that time as well. The salary was 20,000. You can't even believe or imagine. Okay? So, my salary was 20,000 Dhaka. I was very happy with that. Go to the workplace when you join, the reality will hit. No matter which great company, and তখন এটা মনে করলে হবে না আমি তো চৌধুরী বংশের ছেলে আমি এটা ফাইল ট্রান্সফার করব এখান থেকে ওখানে okay some real life challenges that I faced when I joined in Marks & Spencer. First thing, the products. Bangladesh's image to the rest of the world is not that great. Okay? So my challenge was that I always wanted to do value-added product. Why do we do basic products? If we want to make business sustainable in Bangladesh, if we want to make Bangladesh sustainable in the global economy, we have to make more value-added products and not the basic products. You all can see? Now, I used to think that Shawpna, we do make basic products in Bangladesh. You all know, right, that Bangladesh is always known for the basic products, core products. যেখানে আমরা পয়সা দেই না এরকম শোনা যায় না যে বাইরে থেকে তো পয়সাও দেয় না okay only cheap products কিনে so I wanted to be a change maker at that point as well and I had that China used to make. By the way, in Meghan and Harry's wedding a reporter was wearing this dress. This is made in Bangladesh. This is another product Indonesia used to make for Marks & Spencer before even Matin sir was born. So this was historically always made by others, but we make this product in Bangladesh now. Men's suit, I remember my first meeting in London when I said and stood in the front of the meeting and all the boardroom. When the Rana Plaza incident happened, everybody woke up. Cambodia, Vietnam, Indonesia, India, everybody. The fifth finger in people's happened.
To request all the audience that if you have any question for Ms. Shawpna Bhowmick, please raise your hand and our volunteers will reach you.
Who is a woman? So when I first got to know that the country manager of Marks & Spencer is coming to Bangladesh, I asked my faculty, sir, how do I meet him? How do I get to talk to him? So I said, Anita is a she. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Thank you.
And so since I'm graduating, the only question that has been going on in my mind is if there is an opportunity for fresh.
It's really great hearing you. So I'm a major from the economics background, so I have been getting this question, economics for a key korba. It's like,
I thought economics was a great subject, man. I was in philosophy.
oh, we have
Yes, pressures.
Yes, miss.
Okay. So let me give.
So every year, what I get to hear from my father is that, oh na, garments are obostha to bhalo jaচ্ছে na.
Thank you very much.
by Marks and Spencer.
The top is Marks and Spencer, the bottom is Zara, because you have to keep an eye what your competition is doing.
My question is like.
Think the minimum wage?
Yes.
Of course.
Does it have a positive impact or negative impact?
Listen, the minimum wage, even if it increases, we are still going to be the lowest in the whole wide world to any of the competition. So
It was very inspiring indeed.
thank you.
I have a few questions which will be followed up one after another.
Okay?
So we all know that there are a lot of BBA graduates at present, and we do see the scarcity of jobs.
Run away. So every person I see with a lot of opportunities. So we have never asked anybody to go, to be honest.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We all know we have opportunities around us, but most of us doesn't know where to start. So tell us, where did you start from? When did you think about applying for Marks Spencer? And are you nervous?
Were I nervous?
Yeah, this is the number one question, and the second is like
Shall I answer the first one first?
Yeah, sure.
The answer is N-O.
And like to be working that.
I'm married and I've got 10 years old son.
Yes. And being in such a big position, and you're not still grim like I think like a desk job would be. But I wouldn't want a desk job for myself. But like I have entrepreneurial ideas.
You've been so amazing.
Mr. A Matin Chowdhury, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M. Omar Rahman, Dean, School of Business, Professor Aminul Karim, Honorable members of IUB Board of Trustees, my dear colleagues and students, very good afternoon. It's my pleasure that today we have got to hear from someone who is not only a pride for us, but she is a true inspiration for our next generations, that is you. I would like to immensely thank Ms. Shawpna Bhowmick, the country manager of Marks and Spencer for Bangladesh and Myanmar, for coming to IUB and for sharing her invaluable experience in a very unique way that we have never seen before. It has been an incredible learning opportunity for all of our students for sure. I would like to thank our Honorable Chairman, Board of Trustees, Mr. A Matin Chowdhury, for spending time with us from his busy schedule. My cordial gratitude goes to Professor Aminul Karim,